What's up, y'all? I'm So Beastly, episode 20. I'm your host, Mr. Richard. Uh, we planned on doing this episode before the new year struck because it was going to be mostly a recap of basically stuff we've learned, stuff we're trying to do moving into the future, um, and going forward. So we're just going to do that instead of the last episode of 25, this will be the first episode of 26. But it'll do the same thing. It just, coming later than we had hoped. Life gets in the way, and sometimes you just gotta accept that. You just gotta accept that. Um, but today, uh, I guess I'll start with what I learned. Basically, and I'm still working on this. We're all still working on this. Promote love, no judgment, right? No judgment. And I have found ever since I have, everyone says, don't judge anyone. And of course we try not to, but human nature, it's our first instinct. We are essentially taught to judge people based on um, their status or what they're wearing or what they're driving or what they look like or whatever. Um, and so, even if we're not, throat's a little dry right now. Oh well. Even if we're not judging them, actively, our subconscious, boom, immediately we look at someone, we judge them. It just happens. Everyone does it. Um, and it's one of the hardest things to not do because it's our natural reaction. And it's not necessarily our natural reaction from birth, it's our natural reaction that we've learned over time because of what we've been told, right? So that is one thing that I want to actively work on more in 26 is to not immediately snap judge someone. It goes away, right? It goes away after because I'm like, oh, you snap judge them and then you're like, okay, it doesn't matter. I don't know them. Let's rock it. And so, but that it can immediately, don't judge a book by its cover. It's a great piece of advice. It's a great piece of advice. But that's a big thing that I think a lot of relationships, a lot of interactions, um, will improve based on dropping the initial judgment. It's not only about people, it could be about ideas as well. I mean, um, honestly, there's plenty of times where my girlfriend and I get into I would say disagreements. Not necessarily arguments, but disagreements because one of us assumes something, we judge the idea or the actions of the others without understanding it fully. Um, and I'm definitely not immune to this. This happens, this is common, right? Our viewpoint becomes like, right, our perspective is our worldview. So if we see an idea or an action as something, we automatically assume it's that thing, even though we don't know what's going through the other person's mind when they, talk about that idea or um, do that action. What the heck? Oh, that's why. Haha. Right. So, and that causes confrontation, unnecessary confrontation, because of assuming an idea means one thing or an action is this way. Um, and I know it's crazy that this is the case, but a lot of times we, and I'm guilty of this, she's guilty of this, say things in a tone that we can't hear, but the people we're speaking to can. And then we get defensive when they call us out for it and we say, "Oh, that didn't happen." Right? But a lot of times it's like how the mind works. When you're reading a passage and the word the appears twice, your brain can only process it once. Okay? It's very similar. Our brain sees or hears what we know is to be true or what we think we mean. So how it comes off is not necessarily how it's meant. Right? And I'm a big I need to not react in this situation, and I need to not project in this situation from the other end. Okay. Whereas if I hear something in a certain tone, I need to understand that it's not meant in a certain tone, right? And if I'm told that I'm saying something in a certain tone, I need to understand that I probably didn't hear the tone I was speaking in. So and that honestly, that alone has probably caused more confrontation than almost anything else, at least in my relationship. And I'm sure in other relationships, it's the whole thing of, oh, excuse me, oh, sneeze. Excuse me. Sorry if that bursted your eardrums. Maybe you didn't hear it at all. I don't know. Those sneezes just came out of nowhere. Oh, butter. Butter, butter, butter. But yeah, so in terms of tone, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And a lot of times we don't understand, we don't hear how we say it. We just hear what we say. So our words don't come off in, at least to us, in an offensive way or in an attacking way, but our tone can. And so the person we're speaking to hears not only the tone but also the words, but when we speak, we may only hear the words. Right. And that is something that everybody needs to work on. And yes, I mean everybody. Nobody is immune to this. Okay. I'm sure there are a small, tiny, tiny, tiny percentage of people who might be immune to this, who have completely evolved past this. Right. But it is something that as a whole, society needs to work on. Right. Being more understanding, um, from the other perspective. Right. And that is something that I think would not cause, but prevent a lot of disagreements in my life, especially. Um, so that is also something needing to work on is understanding that how something is said or what is done is not always how it's meant to come across. And so take a step back, process the situation, or the conversation, and then react. Don't react, then process. That causes more issues than it solves, right? Process, then react. If we can all take this and stop, snap judgment, boom, snap reaction, boom, 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 right away, I think we would have a lot less stress and frustration because things would not escalate as much, right? And I'm definitely guilty of this, but think that is it. Take a second to process something, think it through, understand it, and then react, right? Don't react and then process, and then, you've already dug yourself a hole. So, and, it's that's basically it. You just be more understanding. Find a way to be more understanding of people, and we can cut down um, so many confrontations that are just unnecessary and don't need to happen because neither party actually means what the other party thinks they mean, right? Or intends it to be that way as it came across. So we just need to have a better understanding of each other. Take the time to better understand each other, right? Okay. Another thing, yeah, there's no smooth transitions here. We're just gonna rip it. Um, Another thing I've noticed, and I mean this has been like a lifetime notice, but something that like I guess really hit me the other day, or has been hitting me throughout this past year, is that it's hit me more because I've started to pay attention more, not because it hasn't been there, but it's been there forever. But I've just been paying attention to it more. Been doing more research. I've been keeping my eyes open to things. Um, but awareness, I'm just aware of more things. I'm taking a step. just as I said, I need to take a step back from certain conversations before reacting, right? I've taken a step back from what is happening around me every day and really taking time to process it. And what I've gathered is that people tend to think that money makes you above people or position makes you above people, right? That is pitiful character and terribly immoral, right? Just because you are in a better situation financially as someone else does not make you a better person than them, does not make you higher on the totem pole than them. That is a fictional hierarchy that society has put into our brains. Right? We have concocted this setup that makes people think that they're better than someone just because they make more money or they drive a nicer car or they have a better job, right? But why? Why has that become a thing? Why has money or position become a thing? I mean, there's certain people who, if they're in a certain position or they've come across someone who has less money than them, they just don't give them the time of day. They don't talk to them. And that's not, I mean, that's every level. You can have someone who, and just as an example, someone who sells insurance looks down on someone who works at McDonald's, and someone who works at McDonald's looks down on someone who's homeless, right? I don't know these specifics, but I'm saying this happens all the time. So no matter what, someone is looking, we're always looking to put someone down to build ourselves up. But why? Why can't we build everyone up? Why do we have to put people down to build ourselves up? Why do we have to treat people as if they're beneath us because they make less money than us or they're in a different position than us? All right. And of course, this comes back to the initial judgment, right? Automatically, you see someone, and I was having this conversation with my friend the other day, right? So he normally wears shorts, right? And I saw him, he was wearing pants and boots. It fits his job better, right? To wear pants. So I said, "Oh, you're wearing pants. You do better." He's like, "Yeah, I actually saw it in at a conference one time. There was a guy in shorts, in a shirt, and a guy in pants and a shirt. The guy in pants had his shirt tucked in. The guy in the pants made the sale. So he started deciding to wear more pants, right? It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing, but when you're in pants, people automatically think that you're more professional than someone in shorts. It has nothing to do with necessarily personality. It could just be a comfort thing. But the mind, what we've been taught that clothes are status, clothes make the difference, right? And a lot of this is it's a sales tactic, right? So there's no need like you could go into a business meeting and someone could be wearing no shirt and jorts and barefoot and have more prowess than someone in a fully decked out um I don't know, Versace suit. I don't whatever one of those nice brand suits are. I don't know, something like that. Um and the guy in the shirtless guy could swim circles around the guy in the fancy suit because he has more knowledge, actual knowledge, but immediately as soon as you walk in that meeting, the guy in the suit is going to be taken more seriously than the guy in the jorts and the shirtless guy. And that comes back to initial reaction. Now, obviously, hyperbole. Some guy's not going to go in shirtless and jorts, maybe jorts, I don't know, but not shirtless and barefoot to a business meeting, right? But if that did happen, that guy, even if he has more knowledge, even if he's the smartest business mind in the world, would immediately be taken down a peg, automatically placed below this other guy, and his words would not be taken as seriously, right? So that is something that we need to work on as a society is stop letting clothes determine who gets to be heard more. Stop letting status determine who gets to be heard more. Right? That I mean that's it comes from the top. It's the hierarchy, and I've spoke about this in maybe in this podcast, maybe in my reading podcast. I have a lot of podcasts, right? I have a trivia podcast. I'm so beastly trivia. Check it out if you're interested. Um, those are fun. Those are fun episodes. Um, but uh, but yeah, the hierarchy is detrimental to society because immediately it looks down unless you have a very quality individual, or honestly, an individual who thinks the way that people should think, people at a higher level are going to look down at the boss is going to look down at their employees, right? Not every time, but most of the time that's the case. And sometimes employees, they don't want to, they're scared to ask their boss a question a lot of times, or they're like, "Oh man, no, don't treat them this way. Don't say that to them. They're in this position." Well, they're still just people, so who cares, right? I mean, just because the president is the president doesn't mean I'm not going to go, dap him up if I get a chance. I'm whatever. I mean, that would just be cool. Like you just dap someone up, just why not? Right? I'll dap up my boys, dap up the president, dap up CEO, dap up uh I don't know, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. So what? Dap them up, LeBron James. They're just dudes, right? We put them on a pedestal, but they're just dudes. They just are good at what they do. But they're just bros. They're just dudes. They just have a different job than us. That's just a job. It's not who they are. It has nothing to do with who they are. It's not their person. It's not their character. Character needs to be valued more than position, more than money, right? And obviously, this is not a new thing. This is just me realizing the separation between, the rich and the poor and how people are treated and just seeing it in movies. There's a movie, and I did speak about this, I think. I don't know. I speak about a lot of things and I speak about a few things. Who knows? Anyway, there's a movie called Good Fortune, and it has Seth Rogen, Aziz Ansari, and Keanu Reeves. It's actually a good movie, right? And I won't get into details. However, it's a it's a life like a switcheroo movie. Um, but Seth Rogen in this movie owns like Uber Eats companies, and he switches and has to see like the type of lifestyle that someone who's full-time Uber Eats has to live. And he sees that it's an incredibly difficult life, and all they have to do at the top is basically take less money, still be super rich, but take a little bit less money and send it down to the bottom. And then everybody's basically happy, right? If you could drive Uber Eats full time as a driver and be make enough money, be good to go, right? The CEO's still making millions and you're making enough to comfortably live. Everybody wins. There's no need to be, what's the difference? Really, at this point, what's the difference between making, being a billionaire and having 500 million? I mean, you still can't buy a sports team, but you can still buy a crap ton of stuff. You can still have a very luxurious life. But if you give the rest of, all that extra revenue, let's say your company, your revenue's 100 million, you're making, I don't know, you make 100 million a year. Your revenue's not 100 million, but you're as a CEO, you make 100 million a year. Yes, this is a high amount, whatever. But if you were to personally make, let's just say 75 million a year, okay? Even 50 million a year. That's about a million a week. Okay, 52 million. You make a million a week. So you send 48 million back into the company to pay the employees more money. Pretty sure everybody's still going to be pretty happy. Your employees will be happier. They won't be disgruntled. There won't be negative things happening. They'll be able to pay their bills. They'll be able to live and enjoy life at a much higher rate, right? So that's the thing. It comes down, it's a greed thing, and it's a greed thing that puts it all together. If you're not greedy, then you're typically not going to care the position of someone else or how much they make or who they are. But if you're greedy, and we all are taught to be greedy. We're all taught that money is the most important. We're all taught that material things are the most important. Everything we see are just ads to buy stuff. Everything is about buying stuff. Buy, right? And most of the stuff, sometimes the buying is positive. Sometimes things are good. Like like me, honestly, I'm gonna tell you that the links to my books are in the description. Okay, buy them, don't buy them, I don't care. Doesn't affect me. I mean, it does affect me, but it doesn't affect me, right? If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. I'm not going to force it upon you, right? I'm not going to be in your face about it, right? But ads, some ads are good, right? Some ads like they're good products, they're healthy products, they help you. But so many products are about just crap and junk and terrible food that's just awful for you, for your mind, for your body, for everything. And it's just to get you to spend and spend and spend, and then you get sick from the food, right? Or and then you have to buy the medicine that they all own together, right? So it's a cycle. But I've gotten so semi off track because it's easy to get off track. But my point is, I guess my point in all this is that we shouldn't let position or money determine how we treat people, regardless of their money or their position in relation to ours. Treat everyone the same. Treat everybody with love. I I, I don't know why that's a hard concept to grasp. It is something that we have to learn now because we've, been taught to treat people differently. It's it's constantly in our, in movies and TV shows and in life, and on the news, you're constantly taught to treat people differently, right? So it is something that is difficult to come out of, but if we can find a way to come out of it, then society will prevail. Will prevail in a very positive way. But it starts with the individual and, be the difference. Be the difference. Um, another I guess another thing I learned is and I had known this, not necessarily in this specific way, um, but it seems like it's been pretty active. So my boy Nick, who I've spoken about before on here, um, he told me through a channel, they said basically every day something happens to you, say, thank you for this great thing that has happened to me. Um, I wonder what other great things are in store for me today. Something like that. So you're basically unlocking it, right? You're unlocking it for other great things to happen because you asked for great things. In that way, you're saying, I'm curious. Now they're going to show you. The universe is going to show you. Your higher self is going to show you more great things. And right, it could be small things leading up, but it's going to build. It's going to build. It's going to build. And then all of a sudden it builds, and then boom, this great thing hits you in the face. And there it is. And I've been doing this, and sometimes it's small things, and other times it's bigger things. Um, but it has been snowballing, it has been working, it's been going. It's been a thing, and it's honest, it's great. It's great. So I've been doing that. Um, and I have changed the way that I manifest. Um, I used to say like I am this, blah blah blah, and do that over and over. And now I do the same thing, but I'm saying different words. So now, right, now I say, I am deserving of everything I desire, and I am grateful for everything I receive. Okay. Or I guess a better way to phrase that, I am deserving of everything I desire, and I'm grateful for everything I have received and will receive or have not caught up, whatever. Anyway, let's simplify that. All right. I am deserving of everything I desire, right? And I am grateful for everything I have received, have received because it's shows that you've already gotten there, right? So I am deserving of everything I desire, and I am grateful for everything I have received, right? That to me, that has been working for me, right? It's a slow build, but things are happening, right? I'm being more active in certain ways, but that is opening it up. It's loosening, the stranglehold that was around. So it's loosening it up so now things can be attracted. Things can come in. Okay? Like I said, once again, if you may not believe in that, but also if you're listening to me in episode 20 and you've been along for the ride, then yeah, you probably understand that too. But I've found that once again, it's not about what you say, it's how you say it, right? So there's two totally different ways, right? If a prayer of begging is not as powerful as a prayer of, being present in the moment and understanding that you have it, right? So if you're begging for something as opposed to praying as if you already have it, one, they say the same thing, but they're said in two different ways, and the one that's begging is not going to be as strong and powerful. It's actually going to do the opposite as the one that is saying, "Hey, I already have these things. Thank you for giving me these things." Right? That's the case. Be grateful. Always be grateful. So I mean, it's simple stuff. It's simple stuff. Basically, just be a good person, you know, treat people the same regardless of their position, and just show up. Like it's literally it. That's all you have to do, right? And really, things just don't matter. Things don't matter, right? In life, what are we doing? What's the point? I was watching Stranger Things last night, and the Wheeler dad, dude in glasses, he just looks like a guy who goes to work, eats his dinner, goes to sleep, does nothing, absolutely nothing, right? He just chills. I'm thinking like that is a very classic life. But why? You're not searching for anything more. You're saying that, oh, this is it. I'm just gonna, work and die. Why? There's so much out there that to do. Right, the mind craves it, the body craves it. We need connection, right? We need nature. We need all of these extra things. So to just basically work and die, that's crazy. And I just don't, that's not the life for me. But at the same time, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to do anything. You have to be okay with consequences, of course. Right, but you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. You can do whatever you want. There will be consequences. You might not, you might have a tougher life financially because you're not working a consistent job, so it's harder to find money, right? But you can travel around in a van or, in a car, whatever. You can go around the country. You can hop around the world and find your way about, picking up small jobs here and there. That sounds like a cool life. That sounds like awesome. You'll see the world. You get to live it exactly how you want without the restraints of, having to be somewhere at a certain time or pay something at a certain time, right? That's a perfectly viable option to live. That's fabulous. That is absolutely wonderful. If you want to live that way, do it. Nothing is stopping you except yourself, right? And that's we have the control of our own life. We have control of our decisions. We can do anything we want to do. We can say anything we want to say, right? We stop ourselves from making these decisions. We stop ourselves from doing what we want to do. We stop ourselves from saying things we want to say because of how other people will react. Okay? If you want to quit your job and sell everything and go around, that is perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with that, right? And I mean, technically, there's nothing wrong, I guess, with, staying in one town your whole life, never moving, working a job, not doing anything, and pretty much just hanging out, right? There's nothing wrong with that either. All I'm saying is, if you're in that mindset, you can't be upset that you're not getting to do other things because we can do anything we want, right? You are in control of your reality. You are the god of your reality, right? There's 8 billion gods out there. You are in control of your own reality, as within, so without. So as that, with you being in control, right? You can do anything you want, right? You're choosing to listen to this podcast. You're choosing to listen to me speak. Probably because you like the smooth sound of my velvety voice. And honestly, I'm recording this on Zoom. I have no clue how the audio is coming out. Every time I listen, it sounds like my inflection is totally different than what I speak with when I record. Um, but maybe we'll start doing this live. I don't know. I'm doing my trivia one live. Maybe we'll start doing this one live. We'll see. I don't know. But maybe we'll find a different recording audio collecting software if the inflection is not proper, because I feel like I have some sweet tones when I speak, but I don't really hear it when I listen back. But who knows? Maybe that's just my ears. Once again, we don't always hear ourselves properly. But whatever. Okay. So yeah, you can make your own decisions, right? You just have to be okay with the consequences, good or bad. So to say this, or then when we do so, we go somewhere, we're on like vacation, and we're like, oh man, why I don't want to go back to real life. Well, guess what? Fun fact: everything you do in life is real life. Everything is real life. It's all real life. Everything that happens to you, everything you see, everything you do, it's all real life. And you have the option to make anything your real life, right? You can do these things. You can change your job. You can change where you live. You can move to a different country. You can get into a different relationship. You can do whatever. All right, it's up to you. It's up to you. So don't be holding yourself back and then complaining about it because you have the option to make any decision you want, right? And so that's it. You just if you make decisions that you want to make, then there's no reason to be upset. If you're making decisions you don't want to make, all right, then change it and be okay with the consequences. That's pretty much that, I guess, on that. Um, and then another thing, probably I'll probably leave it at this, probably be the last thing. I mean, I know there's only a few things, but there's so much to talk about. Each episode will grow. Next episode is about Atlantis. Um, but the one thing that I definitely learned in 2025, and I learned it very recently, right? I've been working on um my mind and my spirit, right? My soul. I've been working on those two things, but I've been in a sense neglecting my body. I haven't really gotten like out of control, out of shape. I've still stayed pretty fit, pretty in tone, pretty good. Um but I've been neglecting my body aspect, right? So I've been doing two-thirds of the trifecta, mind, body, soul, mind, body, spirit. I have been doing right, mind and spirit. I've been focusing heavily on mind and spirit, but I have been neglecting the body. And moving forward, that is the one thing that I truly want to add in. I mean, I'll be more deliberate with certain things that I'm doing, or I'll be more deliberate with this podcast with I'm So Beastly. Be more deliberate with my trivia podcast, I'm So Beastly Trivia. And mainly just by that I mean be more consistent with it because I love doing them, but I just honestly I found reasons to not do them, like being tired. Like there's no reason to not just talk for 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes, whatever it is, about stuff that I enjoy talking about, right? And I'm already thinking about it. I might as well talk about it. Why not? Um, so be more deliberate. So I'm going to still continue the mind and the spirit aspects, but I'm also going to finally add in working on the body, right? And that doesn't mean like hitting the gym super hard. It just means like, bettering the diet, maybe being a little more active, going on more walks, doing more push-ups, doing more basic things, just adding in much like more movement. And that's really all it takes. You don't have to have a ton of movement, a ton of anything to improve the body, right? You just got to eat pretty clean, no processed food. My goal, I'm cutting out all processed foods, right? I mean, everything is technically processed if it's not grown yourself. Okay. But as far as like fully packaged foods, like I'm gonna cut out like the most processed food I'm gonna try to eat probably is like real mozzarella cheese. All right, I get it. I get it. Okay. But I love it and it's fresh and if you choose the right one, it's not that bad for you. It's right, the lesser of the evils. Um, but no other cheese, no other dairy other than like a little butter, but there's dairy-free butter, so I'll probably try to get that. Um, Cutting out bread for the most part. I love pizza. I'm a huge pizza guy. So we're gonna cut out bread for the most part. Um, and then obviously sweets and snacking. Snacking was a big thing, like it's just small things here and there. But sweets, huge sweet tooth, cutting that out. So we're gonna work on the body um, proper. We're trying to transition to mostly vegetarian, but probably pescatarian, and then obviously uh, not the kind that doesn't eat anything. Like say if someone cooks a meal, I'm not gonna be like, nope, can't eat it. Sorry. I'll say, all right, thank you for the meal, right? And I'll still eat it, but that's if someone else is cooking for me. I'll eat whatever they cook for me because I'm a generous guy. I'm a hell of a fella. All right, I'm a hell of a fella. Okay, but we're gonna try to do that and try to be as clean eating as possible. And then we're also going to do some workouts. Like I said, be more active, go on more walks, maybe do some. We just already started doing some lunges and some air squats and things of that nature. Like work on the core, the core. Okay, the core and flexibility. Those are the two most important things you can do. The core, obviously, it's called the core because it's like the central aspect of your body. It's one of the most important aspects of your body. If you have a strong core and not just abs, right? If you have a strong core, then you're going to have a strong body. If you're flexible, you're going to have a strong body. Okay. So flexibility, which is one of the worst things to work on because it hurts so bad to do when you first start. I hate stretching, but it's going to feel good. We're going to do it, right? So we're going to work on stretching. We're going to work on the core. We're going to do some other stuff. Um, we're gonna try to do that for about 3 months, and then right around March, April, into March, beginning of April, we're gonna hit the gym and start adding in some more weight stuff to try to, build on more size, and hopefully by the end of 26, um, you know, we hit this body, this wrestler body, this Triple H style body, Roman Reigns style body, um, so I can finally look like a dope freak with long hair, hardcore body, and then we'll cut it because we'll be like, all right, we finally got our goal. The reason I grew my hair long is because I wanted a wrestler body with the long hair. I wanted to like those guys. It's just like it's so dope. It's such a cool look. And so I grew the hair long. I got that, but I haven't done the body part yet. So I think once the body hits the matches the hair that I always desired, I think then I'll finally be like, yeah, I can cut it. I'll be comfortable to cut it at that point, but because it's starting to get annoying, but I can't cut it because I haven't actually accomplished what I set out to accomplish like 3 years ago. So we're working on it. We'll get there. But yeah, that was said some things, rambled a lot. But that was episode 20 of I'm So Beastly. I'm Mr. Richard. Episode 21 will be about Atlantis, probably on next Wednesday. So we'll try to hit that up. Um, you know, like this video, subscribe to the page, it helps the channel out. If not, no worries. It's up to you. You found me somehow, you'll find me again. Links to my books, they are fiction, but they also have a lot of real world knowledge in them. Those descriptions are down low, and those links are in the description down low. Um, and then I'm also going to put a link to my trivia page. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, catch you in episode 21. Ta-ta, kittens.